Hi friends, it's Yana here today, and today I am using this gorgeous fabric that just screams summer, and I'm going to be making a tank dress. I want to use a free pattern, so I'm going to be using the free tank, curve hem tank top by Ellie and Mac, and we're going to hack it into a dress. So let's do it together. All right, one of the things that I love about Ellie and Mac is the fact that you can grab their patterns and modify them so many ways. But one of my favorite things to do is grab all the free patterns of Ellie and Mac and turn them into something different. So it's like I'm getting extra for something that I got for free. So this time is no different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the curved hem tank and I'm going to turn it into a cute tank dress that I can wear, be easy to just throw on. I'm also going to add some self-drafted sleeves. Now you may remember I did these self-drafted sleeves for the other hack that I did a little while ago. That one was lined, so this one's going to be a little bit different, but it's still going to be the same concept, so we're going to go over that. And what I'm going to use for the bottom of the dress is I'm going to use a dress that I already love. So I'm going to use the pattern for the everywhere dress to add the bottom of the dress. But if you don't have that pattern and you have a dress that you already are obsessed with, I'm going to show you how easy it is to just grab your dress. You would just place it right on top and follow the lines of the dress to create the rest of your pattern. So let's get started. All right, so here's my fabric. I already went to ellieandmac.com and I downloaded my free pattern, which is the curved hem tank. If you have any questions about how to do that, please check out our other tutorials where I show how to download our patterns and such. So I'm gonna grab the front. This is my front bodice, shirt front, and I'm gonna place it where it is on my fold, right here. So once I got that ready, I want to grab the bottom of my dress, whatever dress I'm using. So I'm going to be using, like I said, the Everywhere Dress by Ellie and Mac. So this pattern is really neat because this pattern already has, here's where the arm side is, and it's pretty close to the shape of the tank that I'm using. So what I'm going to do with this pattern is I'm going to match up right here where the arm side is to the arm side of my tank. So where the armpit is, the armpit area here is the same place where the armpit area is here. I'm going to match that up so that it matches, and I'm going to match up this inside seam so that it all matches together. So it's going to give me the length that I need. So this is how easy this is literally all there is to this hack. Well, and then obviously the sleeves. I need a little bit more room over here, so I'm going to move that. But all I'm doing is just overlapping. Now, like I said, I was going to tell you, if you have a dress that you love the way the dress fits, what you would do is you would fold it in half, just like this, fold the fabric in half, and you would place that dress, this would be your dress, right on top of this pattern piece, and you would place it right with your armpit hitting right at the arm side right here where it hits right here. And what you would do though is, because your pattern, your dress would already be sewn at the sides, you would add a seam allowance. So you would add about a 1/2 inch here at the side and cut it about a 1/2 inch out and about 1 inch down for your hem allowance. So that's the only difference. It's just like laying a dress down. I'm going to actually pull it down about 1 inch. And the reason why, I usually always do that with this dress anyways, I add length because of the fact that I am taller than the pattern is drafted for. So that's why I'm pulling it down. But literally it lines up really nicely. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it out using this pattern piece. And then we're gonna do the same thing for the back. The top is gonna stay exactly the same. So here's our front panel already finished. We're gonna put it aside, and then we're gonna do the same for the back panel. I'm gonna lay out my back. Now for this pattern, the back is cut into 2 pieces, but I'm gonna go straight for it. So I'm gonna use the straight piece of my dress right here. So I'm gonna place it the same way I did, right at my arm side, but I'm gonna go down my inch that I went down earlier. You know what I'll do for the second piece, only because I get questions about how do I stripe match. I'm going to show you right here. Okay, so the arm side will be the same right here. So I'm gonna lay that right on there, and then the length should be the same. Everything from here on out should be the same, the bottom part. The top is the only thing that's different for the front and the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it down to match my, let me see, or pull it up right here to match my stripes. And if you can see, I'm going to show you, hold on. I'm making sure that my stripes are matching the pattern piece that I already cut out and the fabric that's on the mat. And I'm doing that by matching up the arm side. Don't worry about up here, that's not, you know, because this is going to be different. But you want to make sure that this side seam, not the inside, but the side seam is going to be the same. And then I'm going to pull this in a little bit because it's got to have my seam allowance right here because I'm not cutting it on I'm cutting it on the fold. So I want to go straight, make sure that this is matching. And then I'm just going to use this same fabric that I already cut out to be like my new pattern piece, because I already added the length and everything. So they're going to be exactly the same starting from here, the armpit down. So let's go ahead and cut that. All right, so now my front and back are cut out. Now, if you want to make this as a regular tank, you can just use the armbands for the tank dress. I'm going to use that neckband for my neckband. So I'll be doing, actually, yes, but I'm going to cut it out. You know what? I'm going to cut that out with black. And I'm also wondering if I should do my sleeves. I'm going to do like a flutter sleeve. I might do that in black fabric as well, actually. I think that will be super cute. I'm going to grab my black fabric right here. And I think that that will be really cute to have the black neckband and the black sleeve. So I'm going to cut out the neckband in black, and then we'll talk about our sleeve. All right, for my sleeve, we talked about how to create that little flutter sleeve. And here's my front and here's my back. And to me, the front and the back are just a little bit, the length of the arm size a little bit different. So I'm gonna measure that. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna do the sleeve. I'm gonna measure the arm side, the bigger arm side. So that's my front, the back is biggest. And I'm gonna measure it all the way down. It's a 10. And I like to do, if I'm gonna gather it, I like to do 1.5 times. So since this is a 10 is like the full size. This is just the back, so you need the front as well. So that would be a 20. So 1.5 would be at 20, would be at 30, 40, right? I'm like, is it 40? Yes, because it's, no, that would be double. 20, so it would be 35, because I want to do, so it's 10 plus a half. I mean, I'm confusing you. You all are like, what is she talking about? Okay, the back is 10, the front is 10. We're gonna say it's 10 because it doesn't matter. We're gonna gather it. And I like to do 1.5. So 1 would be 20 and a half would be 10. So it would be 30. Oh my goodness, all that to get to that. That was not that complicated. I don't know why I made it so complicated. So 30. So I'm gonna do 30 inches is how long I wanna make my my sleeve to be, my cap sleeve to be. So I'm gonna grab my fabric, or you can grab, you know what, let me grab a piece of paper so we can make a pattern for this. All right, so I found this leftover wrapping paper, which works just great for this. And so what I'm going to do is, we said 30, right? Yes, I'm gonna measure 30, so I'm gonna go from the edge. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna cut it on the fold. I'll cut it on the fold, so instead of 30, I'm gonna go 15 from the edge, because that's halfway. If I can find something to mark with. All right, let's do 15. So here's my 15. I'm just gonna mark that. Then, usually how wide you want your ruffle. So you would look at your shoulder, how wide you want it to come out. I want it about 4 inches. It's gonna give me allowance to hem at the edge if you wanna have that raw edge. So I'm gonna do 4 inches. So I'm gonna go from the bottom edge of the paper, 4 inches up would be right here. You know what? I'm gonna go by these lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. This wrapping paper actually has lines on it, which is really nice. So this will be my bottom line right here. Let me do it with a darker marker so you can see it. This is orange, but maybe you can see it better. All right, so there's my line, my bottom line. Here is where my 15 inches are, and my 4 inches, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? And so I'm gonna start from one end, whatever end, if you wanna start here, you wanna start here, it doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3, 4, here's my 4. And we're going to make a curve. It's gonna go all the way down, but it's gonna curve, like it's gonna come up. So it's gonna be curving up. I'm using this curved ruler, but really you can do it like by hand, or you can use whatever you wanna use. You're just trying to get this curve here. See, I didn't even do it correctly. So it doesn't really matter. You're just gonna make that curve right there. So now I've got this curved pattern, this curved like sleeve, and this is gonna be my pattern piece that I'm gonna use to make my sleeve. So I'm gonna cut that out. If I find my scissors, I don't know where I put them. It's in my fabric scissors, that's why I'm not using that. You're like, they're right there. Oh, here they are. So I'm gonna cut this out. This is now going to become my flutter sleeve pattern piece. Now, I have before, in the last tutorial that I did, I went ahead and cut 2 of them and lined them. So I cut, for each sleeve, I cut 2 pieces. So I ended up cutting 4, and I put them right sides together and I sewed them up, and then I turned them around and hemmed, if you want to go check that video out. But on this one, I'm not doing a lined piece because I'm using black cotton lycra. So it is the same color on both sides. So it's going to be just fine. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut 2 of this pattern piece. This is my fold right here. So I'm gonna cut 2 of these, and I'm gonna put one on one side and one on the other side. So I'm just gonna have it with a raw, probably leave a raw edge and attach it on, because I'm using knit, so that's okay. So let me go ahead and cut that out. All right, now that that's cut, when we go to attach them, what we're going to do is we'll just gather it and attach it to our arm side, and then this will flutter out. Actually, we gather this side, the curved side. We will put a gathering stitch here in this curved side and attach it to our arm side, just like we with the sleeve, and then you'll have this flutter out. So I'll show you that as I'm sewing. So this is a very easy to sew pattern. We're gonna start by grabbing our back and sewing our shoulder seams first. Shoulder seams, right sides together. While I'm at it, I'm also going to grab my neckband and I'm gonna match them 2 raw edges, right sides together, the short raw edges. You can give your band a memory crease, which means you're gonna grab it, fold it wrong sides together and steam it to give it that crease. If your fabric is very like stubborn, it helps when you're putting the band on. I'm gonna put in a basting stitch on the curved edge of the sleeve. I just wanna gather that sleeve, so that's why I'm putting that basting stitch. We're gonna lay our arm side out like so. We're gonna grab our flutter sleeve, and I'm gonna mark my half first before I gather it, so that way I know exactly where my half is. Just do a little notch, and that half is gonna go right sides together right on that shoulder seam. And then I'm gonna start from the edge and pulling that bobbin thread. I'm gonna gather this sleeve to fit. Now I don't want the gathers to be so much here at the edge, but mostly all the way up here on the top. So, and then I'm gonna do the same on the other side and on the other sleeve. After I gather them like this, then I'm just gonna sew it on. Let's go sew those on. All right, now that we're done with our sleeve, how cute is that gonna be? I think that's gonna be adorable. I am not going to, you could hem it, but I'm not gonna hem it. I'm just gonna leave it raw. That's just the look I'm going for. So that's up to you. I'm gonna go ahead and work on our neckband. I'm gonna grab my neckband and fold it wrong sides together. I'm gonna take this. It's gonna end up sewn in, so that's okay. And pin, and once it's all folded, and this is where it comes in handy if you do that memory fold beforehand, because see how my fabric is kind of turning? Doing that memory fold avoids that, but I didn't do it. I should have done it. Okay, so then from the back we go to the front, and then we match the front and the back, and we go to the sides, and those are our quarters. Then we mark our neck by grabbing our shoulders. Shoulder seams together, going to the front. I do a little mark. It's gonna get eaten by my seam allowance, but it helps me figure out where I am. Then I'm gonna mark the shoulders again and go to the back. Then I'm gonna match the front and the back and go to the sides. And then now that I have those marks, I'm going to use my neckband and I'm going to attach it right sides together to those quarter points that I created. And head on over to my sewing machine and attach it. Right sides together, raw edges out. So the raw edges are touching. Now once our neckband is done, we're going to fold it right sides together. And we're going to sew those side seams. Make sure you match up the sleeves here at the seam, at the shoulder, and go all the way down. I ended up changing my mind, and I am going to hem my sleeve because it's too long if I don't hem it. I made it too wide. If you don't want to hem it, then you can definitely go ahead and cut off a little bit if your sleeve is too wide like mine is. You can just trim it a little bit at the edges and it would do the trick. But I'm going to hem it, and I think that will make it fit just exactly what I wanted. Or you can, when you cut it, you can cut, instead of cutting it 4 inches wide, maybe cut it 3.5 or 3 inches wide, so it's not as bulky. Mine is not that it's bulky, it's just longer than I wanted it. I want it to be just a short sleeve, and so I'm gonna do the hem, and then I'm gonna show you what it looks like hemmed, and then you can make up your mind of how long you want it to be, if you want it to be wider or not later. You would also hem the bottom of your skirt right now, of your dress. I am leaving it unhemmed because it's a double brush poly and because it's a little bit shorter than I wanted it to be. I forgot that I usually, for the everywhere dress, I forgot until after I had already cut. I usually add a little bit more length because I like it to hit right at my knee, and I didn't do that. So just keep that in mind, wherever it is the length that you want. If you want to, I didn't do this, but you could actually measure from your armpit all the way down the side seam and see how long you would want this to be. That's another option. I'm fine with the length it is now, but if you wanted to also add like a ruffle at the bottom for length, if that ever happens, that's also a really good idea. So let me go hem this and I'll show you the end results. All right, friends, we are finished with our hacked dress. This is once again the free curved hem tank, adding some self-drafted sleeves, which are super cute, and attaching, adding the bottom length of the everywhere dress. And like we said, we could add any other dress pattern that you want. Like I said, it's a little bit shorter than I'm comfortable with, which is fine, but I would probably add a ruffle or something. I totally forgot that usually with the everywhere pattern, I add a little bit of extra length because I like them a little bit longer. But if I would have measured, then I would have known that where it's gonna reach. But that's okay. I can always add a ruffle at the bottom, or just leave it for hanging around or whatnot. But I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Now, the reason why I do all these hack tutorials and mashes and stuff like that is to just come and show you how easy it is to think of something and use Ellie and Mac patterns to recreate it, to let your creativity run wild and do what it is that you want to do. You don't just have to stick with what the pattern is intended for. You can just do so many different creations, and I hope I've encouraged you to do that. If I can do it, I know you can do it. Please remember to subscribe to our channel so you never miss any of our tutorials or any of our helps and tricks and hacks videos that we have, all our review videos and such. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. Let me know if you're going to try this hack, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.